Lydia Daydaw, Fight Connect TV. We're here in Birmingham at Octagon 56. I'm delighted to be joined by the one and only Armand Herczegs. How are you feeling?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
Well, it's lovely to see a face from home over here in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's been a long time. You were the first person to ever interview me. Do you remember a long time ago?
How could I forget? It feels like yesterday. I was like, I feel so old. All you guys are like, well into your pro careers now and doing great. And I'm like, Beck, I was around when they started.
Yeah, definitely. It was different times anyway. Yeah.
Well, we've big news because you've just moved to the UK and all is going well.
Yes, all is going brilliant. I'm over at Manchester top team under Carl Prince now, so I'm just flying up the levels. I'm progressing so much more than where I was training before. Yeah, I'm only here since February, but it feels like I've been training there for a year at least. So I'm just getting ready now. I'm starting to itch for the fight again. So.
Well, let's talk about this because, we were talking about back in the day, but back in the day, there was nothing like this. We weren't coming up in these kind of atmospheres. This production, this team, I actually never seen so many media at an event like this. They're all crowding around. You were in Dennis Frimpong's corner tonight. Obviously, you guys are great friends, and you're with him up in Manchester top team as well. We can relax now, the win is in the bag, but how are we feeling about his fight?
Well, we've one win done, we're waiting on Shem to get it done as well, but it was great. It was very nerve-wracking because he loves to mess and take the piss with the fight, but I'm delighted for him. He's the hardest grafter I know, and I live with him now as well, so I'm getting that. It's infectious, and I'm getting that off him, so I'm starting to get better at my training now as well, and it's helping me progress, so I'm delighted for him. It's going to be a happy gaff when we get back to the gaff.
It really will be a happy gaff. And listen, Cope, both being on the promotion as well, we have to talk, because I briefly touched on it with Dennis, and there's obviously the bravado, there's obviously the showmanship and the whole playing up to cameras and stuff. Now, it is genuine, don't get me wrong, but there is also, we were talking about a hard graft and a hard worker at the back of it, and same with yourself. Up and leaving home to come to a new country, to dedicate it to your craft. This is all part of the sacrifice of MMA, right?
Yes, of course. When you get, for myself, when I got to a position where I felt like I was stalemate and I just had to pick, either I go and do a 9 to 5, which I'm not going to do because I can't walk. So I went to a different gym to work my arse off and get better at it, So that for me is where Dennis comes into play, and he shows me that he is a bit older than me, so I do look up to him as a fighter and as a training partner, and he's a good friend since we come off the show, and he helps me progress in that sense, because obviously I'm still young, so I can get influenced into the wrong things as well, and he's there to kick me right up the side. And
well, that leads me perfectly into my next question. Have we learned anything? Are there any big learning curves that we've learned so far?
Yes, definitely. It's a game of a lot of training and a lot of hard work, and Dennis has shown me that the most. He's even before whenever he was living a good bit away from the gym, he'd be there from the morning until 9 o'clock. He'd be the last one to leave, and that's what's infectious. So I'm happy enough to be training beside him. He talks and he talks and he talks, but like McGregor says, he does back it up.
But listen, do we know what's next for you? Have we got a date in mind?
No date in mind. I was actually going to take the fight that Gavin Filetov, but things didn't come in play together, so I didn't end up taking it. Other than that, I'm looking to maybe get back in June, July, or maybe a bit later. I'm being patient with it, Princey and myself, we're ready to go, but the more time I get, the better I get, so I'm not going to complain about it.
We have to talk about, final question, Octagon in Ireland. It has to happen, right?
It definitely has to happen. Octagon in Ireland would be unreal. I feel like the energy would be a lot different than the UK scene. I think the Irish fans, they bring a different type of energy. So when that happens, I'm going to be ready for it anyway. So hopefully we get Dublin or Belfast going.
Absolutely. Or maybe we'll have both. Yeah. Let's be selfish. We'll take Dublin and Belfast. But listen, thank you so much. I know you need to go prep Shem. One more to go, one down, one to go. But thank you for your time. We look forward to seeing you out again. Armand Herczegs for Fight Connect TV.
Thank you.